Federal judges are starting to get wise to the shell game being played by the Trump Department of Justice to hide the true facts of who runs the Department of Government Efficiency. What is Musk's role? What is his superpowers? What does the Office of Personnel Management do? And federal judges who have more than a dozen lawsuits involving DOGE or the Office of Personnel Management or Elon Musk's cost cutting or employee cutting want to get to the bottom of it. And they will, through forced depositions, statements under oath, through hearings where people are required to testify. We talk about this turn of affairs in the court system on Legal AF, the podcast. After dark, take a listen.
But I figure at the top of the show, let me show you basically what's been going down where, Caroline Leavitt, the propagandist, AKA the press secretary of the White House, was asked. She was saying at a press conference, who's the administrator of DOGE? Who is running DOGE? Let me show you what her answer is. Let's play it.
Thanks, Caroline. I wanted to ask about a federal judge yesterday was saying that they didn't know who the DOGE administrator was and was asking the lawyer for the administration who it was, and the lawyer responded, I don't know the answer to that. Can you tell us who the administrator of DOGE is?
Again, I've been asked and answered this question. Elon Musk is overseeing DOGE. There are career No, Elon Musk is a special government employee, which I've also been asked and have answered that question as well. There are career officials at DOGE. There are political appointees at DOGE. I'm not going to reveal the name of that individual from this podium. I'm happy to follow up and provide that to you. But we've been incredibly transparent about the way that DOGE is working. John.
We've been so transparent, Michael Popok, that we're not just going to tell you who it is, and we're so transparent we're going to deny Freedom of Information Act requests. One more thing I want to show you, though, because then 24 hours after that, they named this lady Amy Gleason, who wasn't even in the country when they named her, and they said she's the head of DOGE, Amy Gleason. I'm not fully sure Amy Gleason knew that she was the head of DOGE, nor am I confident that she knows what that entails, that now she'll be someone who's going to get grilled over and over again if indeed the courts compel that, because again, I think they're going to try to hide her as well and say that she's not subject to having to explain to the American people what's going on, right? The most transparent in history. I mean, it's all just ridiculous propaganda. But here, like literally, I think like 24 hours or so after, Caroline Leavitt was like to the press, "You're hounds. Why are you all such hounds? Everybody knows it's Amy Gleason. You all know that, you hounds." Here, play this clip.
Did you announce her position to the rest of the DOGE staff? Everybody knew, and we said who she was to all of you because you are hounds in the media who are so obsessed with this for some reason. So in the effort of transparency, we told you who that person is. There are so many bigger things in the world than who the DOGE administrator is, but for some reason, everybody in the press corps is so obsessed with this that you were incessantly asking. So we thought, okay, we will be transparent. So now you know who it is. Any further questions?
Michael Popok, as critical FAA jobs are being cut, as individuals working at the CDC and NIH who are working on the next flu vaccine as they're losing their jobs, as people who are working at the National Oceanic Administration are getting fired, who work with marine life and try to forecast weather disasters before they happen and kill people, as they're getting fired, as people from the Department of Education, Department of Labor, Department of Agriculture, the national parks. I could go on and on. As all these people are losing their jobs, I'm sure they'll be very thankful to know that Caroline Leavitt says that nobody cares about these issues at all, as who's actually doing these terminations. Welcome to Legal AF, Michael Pope.
Thank you. That's a good pass. You know who cares about who's leading DOGE besides this 53-year-old Tennessee healthcare worker that just got picked out of a hat while she was in Mexico to be the paper leader of DOGE, when we all know that it's Elon Musk, because he's the one that addressed the cabinet. He's the one that gets patted on the back by Donald Trump. They put up an executive order that gave DOGE and effectively Elon Musk superpowers, more superpowers. Then they took it down. Then they put it back up. But you know how we're going to get to the bottom of it? The good old-fashioned way. A little bit of shoe leather and a lot of court appearances. The problem that the Department of Justice and the Trump administration ultimately have is we have over 90 cases that have already been filed. Let's just take that number for a minute. And let's say after 4 weeks of fevered litigation activity in all of those cases, there have been at least, and I'm just rounding this off as a federal practitioner, at least, let's just say 10 entries in the dockets of each of those cases. That means we've got 90 times 10, we've got 1,000 pieces of paper that have been filed, many of which are inconsistent with each other, with the positions that the Department of Justice and the Trump administration are taking. And the federal judges are onto it. The plaintiffs' lawyers, some of which are the same in these 90 cases, some of them are different, are doing a clearinghouse among each other. Just Security is one of the places for a repository of all of these documents. And they're saying, all right, there's already been, let's say, 1,000 pieces of paper. Half of them are some version of sworn statements, affidavits, things under oath. Okay. And then they don't match up. And when you don't match up things in court, we have a name for that. It's called perjury. And judges, well, let's just say the judge is wearing the black robe or a little bit allergic to perjury. And they have a solution for that. And it's called, let's have discovery. Why don't you all go take depositions and put all y'all, that's one of my favorite movies, White Man Can't Jump said, put all y'all under oath. And why don't you come back to me as a federal judge after sworn penalty of perjury statements are made about what is DOGE, who is running DOGE, who are the tech bros working for Musk that are countermanding the agency head's decisions on funding. We've already done hot takes on that. Bring them all to me at my bench in a week or in 2 weeks. In fact, some judges are saying, I'd like to see some live testimony from some people who are claiming to be the heads of the Office of Personnel Management, which is being used as a puppet by Elon Musk and DOGE. That connectivity between the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, and Elon Musk needs to burst out into the open. And courts are very good at a number of things. And one of their things that they're very good at is being the trier of fact and getting facts out of witnesses under penalty of perjury and documents and granting requests for limited discovery on key issues so that they can prepare a proper record. And so in order to promote the Trump administration's obvious strategy of plausible deniability, we've now moved into completely implausible deniability. See, the one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing in the Trump administration. The DOGE administrator or DOGE doesn't know what OPM is doing, doesn't know what Carolyn Levitt is saying, doesn't know what Pam Bondi is saying or what Donald Trump is saying, on purpose, because they think they'll be able in that way to point the finger at the other person, as you put up your Charlie picture from Always Sunny, and say, well, I can't figure it out. You know who's going to figure it out? The plaintiffs' lawyers that are skilled at doing this, the federal judges who are now reached the point of being beyond finding the statements of the Trump administration lawyers, the Department of Justice, incredible, uncredible, unreliable, and verging on contempt. Look, we had one judge, we'll break down as we get into the podcast, one judge in particular in DC, because we had a back-to-back rulings in DC about depositions that need to be taken, and then in San Francisco about similar issues. And the judge basically threw up his hands and said, I'm 3 weeks at this with this case. I've had multiple filings made, including inconsistent filings by the Trump administration. And to this moment, DOGE and what it is, who it is, what are its powers, who's running it, is opaque. And I'm going to make it stop being opaque, which is the opposite of transparent. Donald Trump says to the world in all of his executive orders, the reason he's consolidating power and putting his greasy thumb on top of every cabinet and every agency and every department, even the bipartisan ones, even the ones that are completely independent by Congress and by Supreme Court precedent, is because he's making them more accountable to the American people. Yet at the same time, as you outlined here, we'll do more of it later, at the same time, we have the opposite. We have Carolyn Levitt saying, why do you want to know this information? Aren't there more important things? I don't know, like what? Like handing out phony binders about Jeffrey Epstein to right-wing podcasters so that you have that's more interesting? Giving a pardon to Pete Rose, the baseball player, that's more interesting? No. The fundamentals of how you're taking, as you referred to it, Ben, the wrecking ball, and using Musk through DOGE, through Office of Personnel Management to fire tens of thousands of people that make you and me and our audience more insecure at every moment. That's what's important. Call me a hound. I'll gladly take that compliment because we're going to continue to call it out here on Midas Touch and on Legal AF.
Look, we don't work as much as they want us to work for them. We, the people, don't work for Donald Trump. We don't work for Elon Musk. We don't work for Caroline Levitt. They work for us. They work for us. We're their boss. And we, the people, I don't care what political party you're from, we deserve answers. In fact, our system of governance demands that we get the answers. Transparency isn't posting things on a social media platform, laundering lies to attorneys that work for Donald Trump and the DOJ and promoting conspiracies that become criminal cases on social media platforms like X and Truth Social. I mean, that's not what our system is. But that's what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are turning it into. I mean, you look at this United States attorney from Washington, D.C., Ed Martin, who's the U.S. attorney. It's the top position. He was never a federal prosecutor before. Zero federal prosecutorial experience, becoming one of the top federal prosecutors in America, the same way Trump appointed a Fox host to become our Secretary of Defense. And he's taking information from accounts like @Amuse, which spreads a lot of right-wing disinfo. Obama's team, including Blinken, Victoria Nuland, Susan Rice, Vindman, advised Zelensky to reject Trump's deal in violation of the Logan Act. And then Ed Martin goes, concerning, this is the top federal prosecutor in D.C., concerning no one is above the law. And he's been starting criminal investigations based on messages he gets from these like wacko right-wing accounts on Elon Musk's social media platform. That's not how it works. The way it works in our system, and again, this is where I don't care what political party you're from. If you're not political at all, you should want Elon Musk and whoever else is at DOGE to show up in front of Congress, which is a co-equal branch of government, the House of Representatives, for example, or even the Senate, and they should ask questions. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Why'd you fire the people who were overseeing Ebola? Why'd you fire the people who were overseeing our nuclear weapons? Why'd you fire the NIH, CDC, and why'd you shut down the working group people who are working on the next flu vaccine as we have record flu deaths? Why are you shutting down research into a pill form of the COVID vaccine that would make it easier for people to avoid COVID? Why is all of this happening? And then Elon Musk, if he wants to sit there in front of Congress, the way he showed up at CPAC and go, it's a meme. I'm a meme. It's my chainsaw. I'm a meme, man. You meme. Then let the American people judge that. And let we, the people, decide. I'm a meme, everybody. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I don't care. And if you like that crap, then just be honest. Be like, I hate America, if that's how you feel. Just be like, I don't like democracy. I like weirdo, fascism, idiocracy, North Korea. Just say it. If that's you, meme, if that's what you're into, okay. Be you, but be proud that you hate democracy and you hate the system of which America was founded on. Here, during a 3-hour preliminary injunction hearing in the lawsuit alleging, this one's from Maryland, that Elon Musk and DOGE are violating the appointments clause, a federal judge, Judge Chung, grew frustrated with the government counsel's inability to answer questions about DOGE's chain of command and Musk's role. Judge, who was the head of DOGE before Amy Gleason? Government lawyer, I can't answer that. I don't know. Judge, I mean, that seems like a knowable fact, doesn't it? Government lawyer, I'm sure it's knowable. I just don't know it. I'm very conscious of being accurate with the court. I just can't make a representation. Judge, have you asked anyone? Government lawyer, I don't actually. Yeah, I asked someone previously. I couldn't get an answer. Judge, are you saying there was an administrator before Miss Gleason, or that there was nobody until this new person Gleason was named, as you saw there by Caroline Levitt? Government lawyer, I'm not saying either because I just don't know. Judge, is there a piece of paper like an appointment paper? Is there one that says Elon Musk, senior advisor to the president? Is there anything in writing? Government lawyer, Sorry. Now you're talking about Elon, not the DOGE administrator. Judge, the plaintiffs are saying Elon Musk was the head of DOGE. You're saying he was not, but we can't tell you who was, which admittedly is highly suspicious. I'm not saying that you're not being candid, but the whole operation raises questions. There's an affidavit saying he's a senior advisor to the president, but there's a strange disconnect where he has referred to himself in public as affiliated with DOGE and not a senior advisor to the president until recently after these lawsuits were filed. Having some backup documentation would seem to be useful. Judge Cheng again. Why do we get a declaration from this person, Peter Morocco, but there's really no documentation of anything there? Morocco says every decision was approved by Secretary Marco Rubio. I've got no documentation, a letter, an email showing that the secretary approved anything, right? And then this lawyer. I think it's important that everyone understands the context here. Since January 20th, we have received approximately 80 lawsuits, and our staff at the Justice Department's federal program branch, we've been cut in half. We don't have enough lawyers. We have about half the number of staff we had in November, and we're working really hard on these expedited schedules, Judge Chung. Morocco could have provided more. It wouldn't have taken extra work on your part to seek more documentation, counsel. If it really was a decision by USAID, there should be a piece of paper or an electronic message from Secretary Rubio himself saying, I'm approving this. Morocco said he had the authority. Morocco would have had access to anything he signed. Why don't we have that, lawyer? I'm not trying to be obsequious. We're doing the best we can to get as much information as possible. Judge, you're saying that the Justice Department isn't taking this case seriously? That they're not staffing this case sufficiently? Is that what you're saying, counsel? The lawyer, it's the opposite. I haven't had a day off since January 20th. We're working day and night, Judge Chung. I understand that. They're cutting people across the government. If you're saying you don't have enough people at the Department of Justice, maybe that's part of the problem. I mean, if USAID can't respond to lawsuits, maybe they need to get more people.
Welcome back. We have a podcast. It's called Legal AF for a reason. And after 5 years, you should know why. It's every Wednesday and Saturday on 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Midas Touch Network, and then on audio podcast platforms of your choice. There's a reason we're top 10 in the world in news and analysis. It's because of you. And if you like this type of law and politics, you've come to the Midas Touch Network and to Legal AF. Help us continue to grow both. Help Midas Touch continue its reign as the #1 YouTube channel at 5 million subscribers, and help the new Legal AF YouTube channel hit its 500,000 goal in the next week or two. We sit at the intersection of law and politics so that you don't have to. And then if you like this kind of stuff and you already know about Legal AF, thank you for being part of our audience. Otherwise, join us. It's my personal invitation from Popok to you. Join us Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our full-length podcast. Until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.